Hello and welcome to Tissuepedia. Today's video is about the important functions of Pandas library that will help us in getting an understanding about a new dataset or exploring a new dataset. So to do that, I will be downloading a dataset of a basket NBA data, and I will export that into a CSV file, and then I will use that and convert that file into a data frame. So to do that, I will import these libraries, which is request and pandas. Then I'm providing a download URL in which I will be giving a URL in which I will be getting this data. So if I open this URL, I will get a CSV file, and this CSV file I will be using for this video. So I am giving it a name, and then I am requesting .get using the library called request library, and then I'm calling function .get and passing our URL. And then what it will do, it will get the CSV file, and then I'm writing that CSV into a file and saving that as nba-data.csv. So if I run this file, after running this whole file, after running this cell, I will get a CSV file. Then I will be reading this CSV file using pandas library called pd.readcsv. So I'm just waiting for this to complete because contain a large data. We will see the length of it and how much data it contains. So now I have got this data. I will be first reading this CSV file and checking its type whether we get a data frame or not. So to do that, I will be using pd.read CSV and passing our CSV file name. It will read this CSV and convert that into a data frame. Then I am checking its data length, that how much data it contains. So this function will give us the first 5 rows of a data frame or our data. So the head function will give us the first 5 rows, and the tail function by default will give us the last 5 rows. If I run this cell, I will get the first 5 rows of this data. If I want to change it and increase the length of the extracted data, I can just simply pass 10 or 15, and it will give, and it will start from the first row and then go till the 15th row. So here now we are getting the first 15 rows with 23 columns. Its index starts from 0 and goes after that one by one. Same goes for tail function. If I change this, if I didn't pass anything, it will by default give me the last 5 rows, and if I increase the number, it will give the last 10 rows, and you can play around it. The next function is info function. This info function will give us an overview about a dataset, like how much rows it contains, how much the categorization in terms of the data type of each column, how much null value a particular column contains, what are the total memory this data contains, how much different data types this whole data contains, like this data set contains float, integer, and object related columns. And for each column, we can see its statistics like its total non-null values, its count, and its data type. So it looks like only the nodes column contains null's value, and we will look into that later. After that, we can use the dot shape and dot columns small functions. These are those functions which doesn't contain any parameter value. So that's why they doesn't contain these round brackets. So if I run this, I will get shape which is saying that there are this amount of rows and there are 23 columns. So then if I call the data frame dot columns, I will get all the list of columns like 23 columns. And then for the index side, it will just tell me that what's the starting point, what's the ending point, and what's the step function, which is just a sequence like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving on, there's another function called Scribe. This Scribe basically targets the integer and float columns and give us a statistics like its standard deviation for each column, its total mean, its minimum, its maximum value, its 25th, 50th value, 75th percentile value, and so on. By default, it will give you the float and integer columns statistics, but if you want the categorical or object column statistics as well, you can just use the include parameter and pass all, and it will give us the all column specifications like its top value, its frequency. For the minimum and maximum side, we can get 10 values because categorical column doesn't contain these type of things. So the next function is null function. So this function will give us a number, will return a number that will denote that okay, this column contains a null value and this column doesn't contain null value. So to this function, we can see that nodes value, nodes column contains this amount of null values, and we need to cater that to solve our dataset issue or dataset cleaning part. So this whole cleaning part will come into the data cleaning stage. The next function is value count function. This value count is used when you want to see the count of unique values in your different column value. So if I just pass the data frame and I pass a specific column and use this function for each value, it will give me an individual count of that value. You can see there are this amount of different values, and for each value we are getting its unique count. Same for another column. If I run this, I get for each value its unique count. Next function is as type function. So if you want to convert a particular data type to another data type, you will use as type function. So here I'm just creating a sample data. I will pass a new column name and I will use data frame and then the existing column name and then just use as type and pass our desired data type. So if I do this thing of as type function and apply our in our existing data frame, what I am doing here is I'm creating a new column called new column and I'm using a isCopy function which is present in this data frame, and I'm converting that particular column type to an object column. So here I'm getting, I will run this and I will print all the data types, and as you can see we got a new column with updated data frame. We can also update this column type as well, but for understanding purpose I just create a new column and assign a new type to this column. Moving on, there is another function called rename function which is used to rename a particular column value. So for now, if I want to rename particular column, I will just use column parameter and pass our desired dictionary which contains the key like your existing column and then your new column value. So for our data, if I do this thing and pass a column with a dictionary for, like if I want to update this column value, what I will do, pass this key, the new column, change name, I will assign this, and for this new column I will do, I will update its name, and assign a new. So what it will do, it will rename these columns. I want to get all names of column. So it doesn't do this because we didn't assign this to the data frame. So now it will do the magic and it will update the is copy name function with changing name. So here we are getting change name, our new column name, and the new column name is updated to testing name. So that's how you rename a particular column. Then we have got a drop function, which is typically used to drop a particular row or particular column. In this case, we will be dropping some columns. So here I am printing some few rows and then I am dropping these two columns. This in place will make sure that it will do this magic in just one command. It doesn't have to do this thing. The in place is equals to true will make sure that it will update the existing data frame, and x is equal to 1 will focus on the column wise. So here you can see we have our the previous before running drop, we have on the third column we have lgid, but after dropping it doesn't contain that column, so it works. The next function is sort function. You can sort your rows using sort values method, pass passing a column name that you want through that you want to sort. So you need to pass a column name and then just so it will make sure that it will sort on based on that particular column. So if I do this thing, it will sort all these rows based on this date game values, and by ascending 0 to false, which means that I need to do this ascending, but by default it's ascending is true, so it will print in the ascending order. But if I want to print in descending order, I need to give this a flag false for descending order. Then I have a drop duplicates function. So this drop duplicates will remove all the duplicates from the data set. This is very important function when the data set contains a lot of duplicate value. And the in place true will do make sure that it will do all the changes in the original data set. That's how you do it and drop duplicates. So in our data set there were no duplicates, so it doesn't drop anything. So here I'm just giving you an idea how to create a new column using existing columns. Moving on, if you want to convert any column of a dataset and set that column, a specific column, to a particular index, so what you will do is use a set index function and just give your desired column name. So right now, if I do this thing, so it will create a game order column with the and assign that to a index column. And if I want to redo this thing and revert all my changes, I just need to pass a reset index, which will reset our indexes and create a new column called index, and will make sure that all the columns came to its original position. So the last thing which I want to share with you is how to do filter. So the filter is basically used with .doc or .iodoc function, and in that you will simply give your desired thing. Like in this particular cell, I'm just getting all the data which were in which the year ID is greater than 2010. So right now I only want all the data of NPA which have a year later than 2010. That's how you get all those column or all those rows of that through filtering. So if I just save this thing into this new data frame, new DF, so it will save this, and what I will do, I will just export this thing to an Excel file or a CSV file, and it will save our data frame into this new data.csv file. So that's how you export any data frame to a CSV file, or for Excel, you can just use to Excel. So that's all from my side. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any queries, do let me know in the comments. Thank you so much.